Hello and welcome back to Marion's Money Talk podcast. Today I'm joined by my co-host Andrew, and we have the pleasure of having two MFEC 2022's organising committee as guests of this episode. Today's episode wraps up the three-part series with our partner, the MFEC 2022, as the convention concludes this week. Without further ado, let me welcome our guests to this episode. Hi Shah and Jian Yu, welcome to the Money Talk podcast. It's great to have the both of you on our podcast. Can you both please introduce yourselves to our listeners, a bit about who you are, what you do at uni, which year are you currently in, and what role do you hold in MFEC 2022?
Hi, this is Evelyn and Mr. Andrew. And first and foremost, I would like to thank Team Marion for having us in your podcast today. I am Sharifah, or Shah for short, and I am the Assistant Head of Programme Department in MFEC. I am a second-year finance student in University of Malaya, and I am actually the flow manager during the event day, along with my colleague, which is Alia from the previous episode. Yep.
That's great. Thanks, Shah.
All right. Hi everyone, Jenny here. So I'm very happy to talk to all the listeners here. Morning Miss Evelyn and Mr. Andrew. So just some simple introduction about myself. I'm studying Bachelor of Finance in University of Malaya in year 2. So as for role in MFEC, I'm the Head of Programme Department with my partner here, Shah. Thanks.
That's great. Thank you both for your introduction. So I can see that both of you are from finance. Can you perhaps describe your very first experience about stock investing, and also how do you come about knowing stock investing to our listeners?
Yeah, maybe I can start first. So I actually started to know about stock investing quite late because I was not that exposed about this during my high school years. And I was a business student back in my diploma days. So we weren't really taught about stock investing in details. So I would say it all started when COVID hits, because all I did was be on my phone, and I actually came across this one Malaysian TikToker who he explains about the basics of investing and how easy it is to start investing with 100 ringgit as your capital. And actually, because of that TikTok, I actually considered to choose finance as my degree because I wanted to learn more about it. And it's actually quite interesting to learn. So here I am, a second finance student in University of Malaya.
That's great. Thanks, Shah. It's actually very interesting to learn that, people started finance and doing finance and also learning about stock investing from social media these days. That's cool. Thank you. And Jian Yu, would you like to share your experience with our listeners, please?
All right. So as for me, basically, I don't really have an actual stock investment experience, but I think I do came across with stock investment a bit earlier than Shah, but my friend introduced me to join a simulation game. But I still didn't really join that game as well. I mean, not really committed to the game, but I would say my very first complete experience is actually during MFEC 2022. So although I joined as a committee, but to be honest, I don't have stock investment and cryptocurrency investment experience as well. But I benefited a lot through this workshop in this event.
That's great. And in fact, I would come back on that point, Jian Yu, because, first and foremost, congratulations on successfully organizing the MFEC convention. Now that it's come to its final a week, and the grand final, it's coming up. So well done to you all and your team for your great work. Perhaps can you please share with our listeners some of your experience as an organizing committee of MFEC, and perhaps tell us a little bit about what you've learned in regards to stock investing from organizing MFEC 2022.
All right, sure. First of all, thank you so much, Marion, for becoming our interface provider. And without Marion, I think our event wouldn't be a success too. So some experience that I could share is that although I'm the organizing committee, but I do benefit as well as I gain a lot of knowledge in stock investment from the workshops sharing by our partners, including Marion as well. So basically, I learned a lot, much more in like technical analysis, which although finance learned a lot in fundamental technical analysis. And besides that, one big experience I gained is that thinking skills, I would say, but although it's general, but as a committee, especially the program department, we have to set the game rules. And of course, we have to think from all perspectives to set a complete and fair rules. However, in the starting of a challenge, we do admit that actually there are some bugs in our rules, but I do appreciate a lot for the advices and opinions given by our partner and participants to make our event better. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for that, Jian Yu. It's a great pleasure for Marion to be partnering with MFEC too. And yep, it's in fact a great both ways of learning from ourselves and on our part as well as interface provider. Thank you. And Shah, would you like to share your experience with us?
All right, sure. So being an organizing committee for MFEC is sure a tough job. We were faced with so many challenges and tons of last minute changes, even during the actual event day. I mean, like there was like this 1 week where I had to bring my laptop everywhere in case of like my department members needed any help with the tasks, and we had to like join last minute meetings with the central committees. So I think like that was quite an experience from joining MFEC. And what did I learn from this stock investing is like, I actually learned a lot, especially during our third workshop with Mr. Allen and Mr. Liu from M Investment Bank. They actually taught us on how to select a good stock to invest in and how to value and identify a good price to enter the market. And they actually explain on how to read the chart patterns in details to let us know like when to make the good trading entrances and exits. And this is something that you would not get to learn that easily, especially from a professional for free. So I think that was like the best thing that I got from joining this event, MFEC 2022. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Shah, and thanks, Jian Yu. I think that sums up pretty much, most of the experience that younger investors such as yourselves when it comes to stock investing. So I'm just curious in terms of like going forward from here onwards in your investing journey. Are there any sort of factors that you see as a hurdle to your stock investing journey? So obviously, I think one of the most probably important hurdles for anyone, in fact, and especially for younger people like yourselves who are just starting, to go into the working industry, probably finance is one of the hurdles. But I'm just curious, are there any other hurdles that you think would make stock investing not an option for you, or it would turn you off from stock investing?
So yeah, to be honest, I think that there's a common issue faced by many youngsters is that I don't really have much investment capital. So as a student, I don't have much income as common, except for my study loan, and yeah, it barely covers my expenses. However, I think the other bigger issue that actually I have the hurdle that for me to start investment is that the fear to lose, to be honest. So I have friends who have started investment in stocks, and sadly, mostly are still facing loss. So yeah, I still think that it's part of this journey. So and I hope that I can start mine very soon. Yeah.
Cool. That's a very I think relatable answer, Jian Yu, for a lot of people, like the fear of losing money when you make stock investments. So probably something that could, I think, potentially be, if you have the ability to actually learn stock investing without losing money, that would be something that's beneficial for people like yourself. So thank you for sharing that. Sharifah?
All right. Like what Jian Yu said, I strongly believe that I still lack in knowledge when it comes to stock investing. So I would like to learn about it more first. And I would say that I'm a bit of a scaredy cat and cautious when it comes to spending my money on something that is not really tangible, because I'm still a student after all. So yeah, I feel like I need to be more careful and study more, gain more knowledge about stock investing first. And then I think I'll be more confident to invest when I have more like a stable income.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Sharifah. That's very useful to know. So I guess just to sum it up, to sum up what you two have said, I think for most new investors, the hurdles are probably number one, finance. The ability to actually afford to put aside a certain amount of money to invest, and the second is obviously the lack of knowledge, and related to this lack of knowledge is the fear of actually losing your investments. So moving on from that question, I guess even though you may be new in investing, but you do have a bit of experience knowing about stock investing, and also participated in some webinars or knowledge sessions about stock investing. Do you have any tips on stock investing that you would like to share with early or first-time investors, people such as yourselves? So maybe Jian Yu, would you like to share some tips?
Yep, sure, of course. So yeah, my main advice for the others, and as for myself as well, is that don't trust the others. So yeah, it sounds bad, but it's really important for us to do our own analysis. So for example, like our expected return and then the risk we can bear, as all these are different from each individuals, but some maybe like me, I would like prefer that some low risk, or yeah, and because of the low risk, of course, there's some lower return, but some actually prefer higher risk, higher return. So it's very important for us to do the analysis ourselves. And so yeah, don't be lazy and do our own analysis. Of course, we can seek advices and teachings from the other more experienced people. In the end, we still have to depend on ourselves and do our own work. And yeah, don't be lazy. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I really like that advice, that tip. That's something that I similarly had as well when I first started investing. Like, don't trust others, because there were previous bad experience that happened to me when I actually just follow blindly what other people are investing. So yeah, great tip, Jian Yu. What about yours, Sharifah?
Coming from a zero experience first-time investor myself, my tips for you guys is to do your research and don't simply invest in companies that people rave about from Reddit or Twitter. And yeah, I mean, just have fun with it and don't stress yourself out too much, and take your time to learn. And it's okay to be a risk-averse person like myself. Yeah, that's it from me.
That is great. Thank you both for your tips. And I can't agree more with you guys, especially when it comes to, don't listen to others, don't follow what others talk about. And especially, I know there are a lot of influencers. So it is important to, again, do your research, like what Jian Yu has advised. Don't be lazy, take your time to learn, as what Shah has mentioned. It is important. Don't just follow blindly on what other investors to invest in, mainly because people would have different appetite for risk. You might be a risk-averse person, but the person you follow might be, they welcome risk and they take a lot of risk in the hope of getting high returns, which is not suitable for your financial conditions and situation. So please do remember these very good advice. And thank you, Shah, and thank you, Jian Yu, for taking your time to share your thoughts and your experience with our listeners. I greatly appreciate both of you being here, and all the very best with the final week of MFEC, and I can't wait to see who emerge as the champion for MFEC 2022. And I hope to keep in touch with you guys, and same likewise for the rest of Marion team. And on behalf of my team, we look forward to keeping close contact with you guys. And it has been a great journey sharing with you guys on MFEC 2022. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Evelyn and Mr. Andrew, for this session. And yep, on behalf of myself and also MFEC also, thank you so much, Marion, for being our interface provider. And yep, I think you guys have a lot of too busy, but still for there's issue, you guys have emergency meeting with us. Yeah, appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, it's our pleasure. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we will speak more about Marion's latest update in our next episode. So stay tuned.